Hi, Peter Irvine here with another Business Bite. I've done a series on marketing, and over the next few months I'm sure there will be a few more simple things to think about with marketing. But one of the things we were very concerned of when we were in the advertising agency, worked on many clients from beginning to end, and we wanted to be or create really effective marketing and advertising, not just win awards like so many agencies. But the best strategy in the world is no good if it's not communicated, if the message is not getting through and clear. The best product in the world will fail if it's not sampled. Yet too much advertising these days is dull and boring, an invisible reflection of often a marketing plan. And you can see this when a poster or television commercial, and you look at it and go, wow, what was that all about? But the amount of cost to produce it and actually run it is quite extensive, and it needs to be effective. So we believed our primary duty was to create advertising that people noticed and respond to. So advertising must help position a product and service correctly and uniquely. It often has to change attitudes. It always has to persuade. But it will not do any of these things unless it captures the customer's attention and imagination. I just want to share a few photos from a brochure we put out at that time. This goes back many years, but still extremely relevant in this day and age, and I guess will never change in the years to come. And the first one is a red sheep in the midst of others, and the title is Position the Product Clearly and Competitively. And we said things like effective advertising positions the product in the prospect's life as being different from and better than competitive products. Where there are no important positioning exclusives in your product, the advertising must bring new meaning and importance to old and non-exclusive values. So that's number one, position the product clearly and competitively. The second one, and this is extremely important in everything we communicate, reflect the character of the product clearly. Reflect the character of the product. Different kinds of products require different kinds of advertising. Products that are fun or enjoyable are most effectively sold with advertising, and that is fun and enjoyable. Products that solve unpleasant problems need advertising that reminds the customer of the problem. A friend of mine, Tony Guattari, says that when you find a bruise in a market, you hit the bruise a few more times before you provide the solution, because then a potential customer is ready for that solution. So effective advertising requires the essential nature of the product and the projects its more important qualities into the product's advertising personality. The third one is speak with one voice. And effective advertising focuses single-mindedly on the idea, on the desired product positioning. And if you look at a previous Business Bite, you'll see the marketing pie chart with the core idea or the unique selling proposition in the center, and I gave a few examples at that time. So everything in the advertising execution, be it words, graphics, sound, music, supports this positioning, so it helps to actually speak with one voice. The one that I love out of all these is break the pattern. And effective advertising excites the ear and eye with a look and a sound of its own. It separates itself from surrounding communications, just as it separates the product from competing products. It pulls this excitement from the product itself. Borrowed interest is never as effective as intrinsic interest. And if the product or service can deliver that, it's going to be more powerful. Otherwise, you do have to go to some borrowed interest. That's why personalities can be used, or a totally remote, different situation. So break the pattern is an important one. Another very good one is appeal to the heart, or both the heart and the head. You can appeal to the head, but then it becomes a decision based on one thing. If it's just to the heart, that's probably even more powerful, but if you can appeal to both, you've got a very powerful dual force working for you. So no sale is made entirely in the mind. All sales are made at least partly in the heart. Effective advertising, therefore, does more than present practical reasons why. It invests the product with real emotional values. The next one is to generate trust. People got to trust you. A prospect will not buy from a salesman who does not trust. Effective advertising, therefore, not only speaks the truth, but everything about it rings true. Even when fantasy is used, it is fantasy which the viewer can share, accept, and find motivating. It is simple, direct, and empathic. So there are the items. Speak with one voice, break the pattern, appeal to both heart and head, generate trust, and reflect the character of the product and position the product clearly and competitively. So these guidelines are rooted in an understanding of what people want and need and how they respond. They are not rules. A rule is a restriction with an implied penalty. Great advertising is not created against checklists. Our guidelines are statements of value to be sensibly adapted to each advertising situation. And it's important that you as a product or service stand out within the category. Seth Godin, in his book Purple Cow, talks about driving down the highways outside Europe with his kids, and they come across a brown spotted cow, and he goes, a brown spotted cow is boring. He said after 2 kilometres or miles, brown spotted cows are boring. So what if there was a purple spotted cow? That would be remarkable. That would be different. That would stand out. And he said many people in their business are all doing the same thing and no one is standing out. So are you willing to provide these 6 guidelines to start looking at how you evaluate marketing that is presented to you, or even before you start doing anything, including a website? So start applying these principles and see your advertising and marketing start to go to a new level.